Yo, 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 and welcome back to Creeps and Crimes
Podcast.
I'm Taylor.
And I'm Morgan.
I'm Em.
And I'm Christine.
And this is episode 150. Oh my god, we haven't. That's how we drink on Creeps and Crimes podcast.
Taylor hasn't been able to sleep for the last, what was it now, one night? Since this literally just got planned in the heat of the moment.
It like came in while I was on stage somewhere, and I remember going, "Ooh, that looks fun," but like totally like not being like, I can't respond right now. I'm on stage and I'm supposed to be funny right now.
I've rescheduled my Barbie tickets for you. So
Well, what?
No, you should have. Why did you do that?
I'm seeing it later. That's all. It's okay.
Okay, fair.
Later, but we're still here
Well, I
holding you
feel
hostage.
so honored. You saw it on stage and you looked, and then you canceled Barbie.
I know. Well, to be fair, I have already seen. This is my second time going.
Okay,
so,
all right.
yeah.
Oh,
but
yeah.
not to
Did
like.
you enjoy it?
Yes. Oh
I mean,
my god.
obviously you're going back.
I wept.
Fair enough.
Well,
Anyway.
we appreciate your sacrifices. So a little fun fact is that this is a total surprise to our listeners. We usually hype up any big moment or any big production like coming up, you know?
Every
but we
little
have been
thing.
telling our listeners for the past probably month now, we were like, yeah, 150, don't get any too good
got
ideas.
nothing.
Like, we got nothing, regular fucking day.
That's like
Yeah,
the
we don't
ultimate
fucking
prank
do
because you
anything.
really were like, huh, I don't know.
And then we sat here this week and we were like, we've got to do something.
We
dude.
have to.
We've got to do something. And I was like, we need to text Em and
it's like
Christine.
pretty immediately
sure
we were
shot.
like, hell yeah, Friday? Great.
No,
Yeah,
Taylor.
oh, yeah.
Taylor wouldn't let me leave until she was like, "We're not leaving until they answer."
That's a dangerous game because sometimes we don't answer for
That's what
A
we
long
said.
time.
We
weeks.
said it could be 3 days.
It could be. You should have like a shelter in place, just like a food bunker with dried foods and canned goods, just in case, because we might have.
Exactly.
first
We
one.
would have been so screwed if you guys weren't down. We had nothing in the back burner.
No,
We
know,
were like,
really
they're
have nothing.
gonna say yes. We
We
knew
do that
you guys
all
were
the
gonna say
time.
yes.
We do that all the time where we think, oh, this big date is coming up. We need to do something for it. And then absolutely forget until
Nothing
the day
And
happens.
of.
it comes right. It's right there.
and
yeah.
then it's here, and we're like, oh my god.
Womp
Yep.
womp. Well, we're honored
Yep.
that this was that you're so excited. I mean, to me, I thought, oh, we've already been on the show, but then I was like, oh wait, no, we just did like a hangout session.
We talked for like 3 hours.
17
I
days
really was
straight.
like, oh, we've already been on the show, like in my head. So I didn't even
Yeah.
realize this is our first foray into your show. I'm so excited. I love your show.
I'm realizing that right now that I've never been on the
Yeah,
show
Emma's
before,
like,
'cause-
what's the big deal? We've already done this. No, we haven't technically been on the show. So I'm very honored. I'm amped. Thank you for having
Very
us.
grateful.
Well, thank you for coming.
I mean, I literally this is like
everyone that knows Taylor knows it's a huge deal.
everyone that has
But
ever listened
I also
to
love you
season
guys
one.
too, but I just wasn't a podcast girly. And,
Yeah.
This-
No, I get
this
it.
is Taylor's
But you were
moment.
the only one that she would listen to.
I was.
Oh, that's not. That
I
is a
was.
compliment. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Yeah.
so nice.
And
I turn
like,
you guys on every now and then.
I mean, literally the fact that the only thing that we've talked about consistently, other than like, you know, creeps and crimes, would literally be in That's Why We Drink. And like, it's so crazy.
I feel like I only listened to the recent episodes, so I'm like, I feel like I missed all that. If I ever heard that, I would have probably like dropped my
please
phone.
don't.
Don't go.
I won't.
No, please don't go.
I
back.
might.
Please don't go back.
As someone
Go
who
back.
needed the ego boost today, this was the perfect place
Man,
to go.
we're loving
I'm
this
so glad.
energy.
I'm so glad you're enjoying it.
No, we're just fangirling.
Bring it on.
I know.
But not to mention, we've talked for what, 2.5 hours now
Oops.
prior to this.
And I was like, we won't keep you long. I promise it'll be fast. Why didn't Morgan
Until-
send it?
we just bought. Sorry. Hey.
That was romantic.
You never hugged me.
You're just having
We
a moment.
Yeah, I don't know what I was just stretching my arm, I guess. And I was looking on the camera.
And then I'm
it looked-
looking behind like, is there a cat?
Anyway, we just bought Riverside FM, and we only did like a monthly thing because
Yeah.
we don't have a lot of guests to come on. And so we were messing around with it last
Not many
night.
people come over here.
And Taylor's like, yeah, we only bought like 5 hours. And I'm like, now that I think about it,
shit.
we don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I did it as like an auto renewal.
So we hope that it's just going to charge us, not cancel, and be like,
Well, because it was like, do you want to
ended.
do a year? And it was like $200, and we're like, no. Oh my
Who do you
God.
think I am?
Yeah, like, it's just me and her.
It's raining
That's
gold
it.
coins.
It's
in here.
raining
It's
gold
not.
coins.
Yeah,
Nice
Yeah.
try, Riverside.
yeah.
But no,
We got the money guns out here. Sitting
Here you go,
oh,
Riverside.
shit.
Yeah, this is for you. After all the, I mean, I know Riverside makes bank because anytime I'm on YouTube, I get an ad for them.
See,
like it so
really?
And it worked.
Oh, every single
And
time.
it worked.
Riverside FM every time.
Yeah, and it did work. That's a good ad then.
Yeah, I did.
I feel like it is crazy how far the algorithm's been going recently. I feel like YouTube didn't used to know me this well, and all of a sudden, in every ad, it's something I just talked about in the last 30 seconds. It feels like it can read my mind. So this
It's
was
definitely
meant for
because
you.
everything we all say is transcribed, you know?
Yeah.
technically, like into
I
closed
think
captions.
They hear like
AI.
record podcasts and they're like, those are ding, ding, ding. Those are our keywords.
Ding, ding,
That's
ding.
the one.
Well, mine is this specific couch that I can't get rid of. It's on my Facebook, my Instagram, and it's a sectional modular couch, but it is $10,000 and it looks so comfortable. So every time I see it, you know, after every 2 pictures on Instagram, because they're everywhere, I'm like, damn.
You're like, ooh.
What's a girl
God.
gotta do to get a couch like that?
Is that the one I sent to you and you're like, dude, yeah. I'm like, can we get this for the studio? She's like, look at the price.
I was like,
tag.
10,000. Yeah, it's never less.
So now they're like, one
I'm
day,
always looking at it.
one day they'll get it for their studio.
Well,
One day.
it's got a it's like a reclining circular sectional couch.
Oh,
I'm like,
I
would
want
look at the
that.
studio.
And
And
then
Morgan's like, I'll be asleep.
The algorithm recently told me that I needed sunscreen that comes out like whipped cream, and they were right.
and
also
Em was
known
like,
as
I
that.
do
You
need that.
did need it.
and I bought
Yeah,
4.
didn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. I want the alcoholic whipped cream. That's,
I was just reading about that.
Is that,
I'm like,
is that Cardi B's stuff, I think?
I think there's like, she has her
she
own
has
line,
a
but there
brand
is
of
a
it,
line.
but there's like,
Oh,
yeah.
it's definitely having a moment
Yeah,
right
I'll check
now.
that.
For those who are not in our group chat, I didn't realize how often we talk to each other, and it's only about food.
It's only beverages or food.
No, yeah, that's
Literally
that
is
is
only-
twisted.
The entire name of the group chat is a hot dog.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't
It's
even
a
think
hot
of that.
dog place.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
wow.
we're at the end of the day, we're just food girlies. That's all.
You
it
guys
is.
Yeah,
also
we're just
sent us home with
foodies.
food from your
Oh yeah.
live show
We were
in
like, do you
Nashville.
want this giant charcuterie platter from Kroger? Here you
And
go.
I'm like, please, I'm starving. Taylor didn't let me eat after work. We had to get there. Please give me that food.
To us, food is love. So if we're just handing you piles of food, just
it
take
means
it as
something.
a good sign.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what? Yeah.
That was the best snacks I've ever had in my life.
I think we like pounded the entire fucking thing.
There was like
before.
salami on there. There was all
Yeah.
sorts of stuff.
No, I don't think you guys realize that I was actually like shopping in your dressing room.
No, I do
I was
because you
walking
kept turning around and saying, "Oh, guys, I'm shopping in your dressing room." So we did figure it out pretty quickly because you announced it multiple times, and we were like, "Go for it."
And it all started because I said, "Can I please have a water?"
Oh
And you
Lord!
were like, "Please go get a water."
Please
We're like,
drink a
here's,
water.
And then I
here's
went
a
from the
pantry
water
of
to-
food, actually.
And then I went for the water too. Can I please have your charcuterie board?
You can have anything, my love.
Have
Oh my
you?
God, yeah.
I'm
That shit's
gonna
funny.
sound like I'm totally in the dark, and I'm so sorry about this. But have you performed live yet?
No.
No.
When you do, because I know that's coming. At what point is when you have to write out your writer or what your requests are for the green room? What's the food you would like in there?
Good question.
Pickles. We have to have
Pickles.
pickles because we're pickle.
Are
Pickles
you-
is fun.
Dills or bread and butters?
Oh,
I'm
dill.
both.
No, I'm
She's
a
dill.
I'm
I can't
strictly
get
B&B.
Really?
I love homemade.
Christine,
thick
you look like you don't like
B&Bs.
pickles.
I'm actually in the both camp, so I'm just kind of gonna.
So you guys are the two either sides of the extremes.
Yeah.
So I think that we would probably also have Chick-fil-A nuggets,
That's good.
but that would be just like a little.
That's
like,
the only
snack.
thing that we can
But I
eat.
also
even when
know
we
that
don't
we
want
would
to eat.
have a tomato, cucumber, onion salad.
No, we'd have to have a tomato sandwich board.
Can I give you some advice that Christine will 1000% back me up on? The last thing you want in a green room is chicken tenders.
Really?
Because at every place you go to, they are going to offer you, or the places that also offer food, they will offer you a menu. And you are going to have chicken fingers about 100 times in the span of like 10 weeks. And you're going to be so
There
sick
was a
of chicken
point with
tenders.
Eva
Like fried
where
chicken
we
fingers.
ordered salad by the end of the tour. Like, I don't really order salad at a comedy club, but I ordered a salad, and Eva and I both cried. We were like,
salads.
"This is the best thing I've ever eaten," because we had only eaten chicken
fried
tenders.
food.
The whole tour is eating chicken fingers because
Burgers.
then also you're in hotel rooms and then the only
Right.
thing they do for room service is chicken fingers. And at the end of the tour, Christine even like went to go hang out with her friend to celebrate the end of the tour, and her friend unironically was like, "I could really go for some
I was
chicken
like, "Don't
fingers
say
right now."
that to me.
Don't say
Get those
that.
words out of your
my
mouth."
God.
Don't say that shit to me.
But I'm down with the pickles. Pickles is a great option.
Pickles, we
pickles.
need like a big bowl of pickles. I think, okay, you know what, now that I'm thinking about it, thinking back to the things that we ate religiously daily when we lived together, specifically the last month of us living together, we
Hot chocolate lava cakes.
hot chocolate
A lot
lava
of
cakes,
those.
and
Oh my God.
50 pounds worth of
BLTs,
those.
tomato sandwiches, and gourmet toasts. So
Gourmet toasts.
We're BLT literal fiends. Like we searched the globe for the best BLTs.
Wow.
I love
and
a
then
BLT.
She didn't eat tomatoes for the longest, and I can eat a tomato like it's an apple. I can
Me
eat
too.
a cucumber like it's
I've
a
watched Em do
piece
it.
of
It's
corn.
really
I can
troubling.
do cucumber.
She's seen me do it too.
I can't do tomato.
Just can't explain it. I got something for them.
I love them. They're probably one of my like favorite foods in the whole world. is
I
tomato.
do, and I have to
Even-
get like white gas station like cheap country bread.
Yeah.
Lather on mayo,
Mayo,
Mayonnaise.
salt and pepper. I gotcha. Ooh.
That is my dream
So good.
sandwich. I fucking.
I eat it all the time. Up to my wedding, that was like that. We ate that grilled chicken
So
nuggets from
many BLTs.
Chick-fil-A, BLTs,
And a kale
kale
salad.
salads. That's the only thing we all ate.
I'm hungry
and,
now.
We tried to do a fucking what was that? Juice cleanse.
No, because it made me get so drunk.
Because we were drinking while doing a juice cleanse.
You were like, oh, we're doing a juice cleanse, but
We're like a 3-day juice cleanse.
It was
plus
Memorial Day.
alcohol.
Anything. And then right after it was Memorial Day. And
Yeah.
we had just done a 3-day juice cleanse of not eating food. And
I
was-
still didn't fit in the
I
fucking
was,
wedding dress.
I
so.
was wrecked.
At Christine's wedding, I brought my own bag of a pound of loose deli roast beef.
And I like my
And-
one rule was don't bring in food because I will be charged $250 if we bring in outside food to like the bridal. And Em was like,
What?
cool, got it. And then showed up with like a pound of loose meat in a bag and just started eating it with their hands. And I was like,
And they were like $250 every bite. $250.
swear to
$250,
God, I'm gonna Venmo
$250.
request you in 2 seconds.
And I would have paid it because that roast beef was so good. I was not going to throw it away.
No, I paid it. I did not even bother to.
They did charge
request-
you?
Yes.
They charged you?
Yes, because Em sat
What
there
in
with
the fuck?
because they were like, well, you said no food, and I said, I know, I swore we would not bring food. So
I'm Venmoing you right
don't
now.
Venmo
Don't even
me.
know.
Don't Venmo
Well,
me.
let me
You
tell
never
you-
told me you paid, so here I go.
Well, please don't Venmo me.
And it's going to say loose meat is going to
Gross.
be.
Make it public.
Lose me.
It is public. 1,000% pay.
Oh my goodness. Okay, guys. Well, I guess, Morgan, it's time to hit you with it and we'll get to the creepy accounts.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming on again. If you're driving, throw that shit on cruise control.
If you got a glass, pour that shit up.
And let's get creepy. Okie dokie. The first one we have is from Serenity using pronouns she, her. Hi, ladies. My name is Serenity, and not to be basic, lol, but I did just want to start off by saying how much I love the podcast. I found you guys through Taylor's TikTok, go off, by the way, like almost a year ago, and have already listened to literally all of the creepy accounts, all of the Reddit stories, and almost all of the true crime cases.
Oh my God,
Literally, my favorite thing to
Wow.
listen to while at work or taking road trips. I sent my creepy accounts to you guys a couple months ago, but I just wanted to send it again so you guys would see it because
Thank
that does
you.
happen a lot.
Thank you.
Anyways, I have 3 creepy experiences, 1 of my own and 2 of my relatives to share, and a fun fact at the end, so stay tuned for that. Okay, I'll get to it. LOL. Love y'all.
Okay, love you.
Number 1, my personal experience happened around the time I was 13 to 14, starting high school. 2 of my sisters, one older and one younger, and I were sharing a room, each of us having our own bed in each corner of the room. Sharing a little bit of how our room looked is a small, somewhat important detail in this story. My bed was right across from the door, my little sister's bed was diagonal from the door, and my older sister's fairly small clothing rack was right in between our beds, with her thousands of shirts, dresses, jackets overcrowding themselves on it. Anyway, all 3 of us fell asleep pretty early one night as it was a school night, and I suddenly woke up around 1 a.m. because I just couldn't breathe. That was when I realized that I was being sat on. Now, unfortunately, sleep paralysis isn't something that's new to me, so being sat on wasn't that big of a surprise. I am a Christian, and whenever I had sleep paralysis, my parents would always tell me that I just need to pray and it'll go away. So that's what I did. I did a short prayer, and then I fell back asleep. Around an hour to 2 hours later, I woke up again, paralyzed. This time it was much worse because not only was I not able to breathe, I also saw something standing in my room. My sisters and I, at that time, couldn't sleep with any light on, so the only light in the room while this was happening was coming from the moon. through the one broken shade by my sister's bed.
Is this like a young adult novel? This is so scary. I'm like, this is written so
terrifying.
Well. And is she praying the whole time? Which, by the way, I'm not even a Christian, but I also immediately believe in Jesus
Em is
the second that there's a ghost.
Em is like like in case you're wondering who says the Our Father the most in the world, it is a Jewish person, and it is Em. Because
it's a culturally Jewish, spiritually atheist.
Yeah, you're right, right.
The second that I feel anything in the room, I'm like, I believe in Jesus. He is
like, Hail Mary,
my savior.
Rosary.
Hallowed be thy name. Thy
Yeah.
Thy will be done.
I was like, I'm sorry for everything.
Yeah, I don't blame this person at all.
Please. Oh crap. Even though it was nearly pitch black in the room, I was able to see a dark, black, tall figure standing right behind my sister's clothing rack, almost like it was hiding and trying to peek at me.
Oh, I thought I was going to say trying on clothes. Trying on her jacket. So it's like,
me.
aw.
The figure's now having a full on
just tossing
modeling
it over like Lizzie
expose.
McGuire.
Fashion show.
Yeah. Fashion show.
You're an outfit repeater, okay?
It didn't even have eyes, and yet I just knew it was staring at me. I wasn't able to move, scream, yell for help. The only thing I was able to move were my eyes, which eventually followed the figure while it was slowly making its way towards me, moving further and further away from the clothing rack. I was trying my best to say a prayer in my head, but I was so afraid that I was struggling to focus. It wasn't until the dark shadow eventually ended up right next to me and tried reaching for my head that I immediately shut my eyes and started praying to God to let this creature leave my presence.
Been there.
I opened my eyes and it was gone. It took me a couple minutes to fall back asleep, but I was eventually able to. You probably think the story ends there, but it most definitely does not.
Oh, no.
God.
I'm scared. Another hour or two passes by from my last encounter while sleeping, and then, yep, y'all guessed it, I woke up again. I know I said the second time I woke up was much worse, but man, was I in for a big surprise with this third encounter. Unlike the first two times, this time I woke up and actually wasn't paralyzed. Now, this last time I woke up, I'm still not sure if it was just a nightmare or if I was astral projecting or something. But after the first two times something happened in one night, I really don't think this last time was just a dream. Anyways, I woke up and I was actually able to get out of the bed. The reason I think it was astral projection was because once I got out of my bed, I actually saw myself sleeping on my bed, eyes closed and everything.
Oh my God.
I didn't think much of it and actually thought it was kind of cool.
Okay.
Which is me.
Yeah.
I'm like, I literally would immediately be like, I'm going to go
"Ew."
float to Em's house in Burbank and say hi.
I would have smacked
I
my
would be like, can that bitch close her mouth? Because I know I'd be like,
Is that what I look like when I'm sleeping? Oh my God.
I think I would have slapped myself just to see if I'd wake up. Just a good old
Start
smack.
flicking yourself in the face.
yeah, because what happens if you do wake up?
So I think
I guess
what
you can't.
what I've heard is that don't worry, I have an answer. I've been taking an astral projection course. On like Skillshare on the internet.
Oh, thank God.
I think what happens is that typically you're like kind of sucked back in. People describe it like getting like almost vacuumed back really quickly into your body.
Oh,
So
like
you could never
slamming
open your eyes and see yourself
above you.
right?
No, I don't think so. Because I think your consciousness is what's leaving your
what's
physical
leaving.
body.
Yeah.
So like
If you wake up, it's because you've been possessed by something else.
yeah, something else has entered the chat,
Something has
aka
entered
your
the
sleeping body. So
yeah.
that's not good.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's freaky. For some reason, the me that was awake was drawn to go and look down at my basement. Okay, so now she's astral projecting. To go and look down at my basement. So my dumbass did exactly that.
Okay, at least you know.
I opened the door, walked out my room, through my kitchen, and I landed at the door to my basement. I slowly opened my door and looked down the stairs. I immediately wanted to scream, but I couldn't. There at the bottom of the stairs, I saw me standing there. I can't read the rest of this.
What the?
Standing there with the biggest creepy ass shit smile on my face. This version of me at the bottom of the stairs was probably the most chilling thing I've ever seen before, and it still sometimes haunts me to this day. The me at the top of the stairs was totally in shock and didn't move for a good 3 to 4 seconds. Then, when I started to slowly close the door out of fear, the me that was at the bottom of the stairs started running, and I mean running up the stairs, chasing after me. Luckily, I
I
wasn't
believe in
frozen
Jesus. I believe in Jesus.
Our Father,
Right
who
now.
art in heaven.
Literally.
Oh my gosh. Luckily, I wasn't frozen in fear, and I was able to get my ass out of that situation by sprinting to my room, locking the door, and jumping right into bed where my other sleeping body was. I prayed my ass off and eventually fell asleep while praying. My body and mind were so exhausted, so it didn't take long at all. I was able to sleep the rest of the night and then went to school the next morning, trying my hardest to pretend nothing ever happened. But I mean, of course, I'll never forget it. I mean, who could? Sorry if that was confusing, especially towards the end when I was talking about the different versions of me.
About
Not
3
confusing.
versions of myself.
Then,
Oh my
then
God. So
she
wait.
wants to say I'm not the best writer, but I'm trying. No, you are a
Hello?
great writer.
There's
Writer Serenity.
nothing creepier to me than the fact that the you down in the stairs could see your conscious self.
Right.
True.
Right. And with that eat
Because
shit
what
smile.
realm is that one living in?
Yeah.
Exactly.
What realm
Like,
did you travel to?
Good point.
It can see you're in the in between and you can see both sides of things, but they can see you. Ugh.
And it was drawing her.
That's
to
true. It
go
was like, come
there.
down.
I
And
wonder
then-
if it hurt the spirit you, could it have then possessed body you because the body
been
was
like-
an empty
And
vessel?
what are the odds that we would literally had to ask that question before I kept reading the story, because I haven't read this.
Oh.
And we were like talking about what would happen, and you're like, oh, something jumps in.
No, we covered astral projection, and then I forced Morgan to do a little thing. She it didn't go out. Logan, my husband, put a sound box underneath, and it was of a child going, "Hello,
Bye.
Mommy,
Come
I'm in
play
here.
with me.
Come play with me."
Hello?
Me and Morgan slung up. This is being filmed for Patreon, by the way. We sling our heads up. We're like, "Who the fuck is that? Get out of here! You're not welcome here!" Like the girl.
Oh, you didn't
freaking
know
out.
this was there. This was
No.
a prank.
We didn't know that Logan
he
was
slid.
playing.
That's an
a
incredibly
video.
evil prank.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, I literally was like, "And I'm leaving you." Like, it's so done.
Divorce.
Like, we're immediately
done.
call the lawyer. But when we did it, we researched it, and it was like your physical body is so vulnerable in that minute, like in that time that you're astral projecting. And it was like, you've got to clear your space. So we took our sound bowl and tuning fork into every corner with our like spray.
Oh, because you don't want to
everything
practice
cleanse.
it and then like leave yourself in a place that's not safe
Where we're
spiritually.
covering like, the D words.
I
in
will
here.
say that all I did was fall asleep.
Oh my God.
Okay, that sounds nice too. A
I
nap.
was fighting for my life, trying to separate my body and my soul.
Taylor was really putting in the work
I was
to astral
sweating.
project. Meanwhile, I had just worked, came back, we recorded 2 episodes,
I
and
put
she was like,
pajamas on her.
we're gonna be astral projecting. I'm like, fuck me. I was like,
Taylor, did it
Also-
work?
snoring.
I felt my body like yanking, like, and it was making me like chilly all over.
Yes.
Like, as I was, you know what I'm talking about.
I've done it. I've barely done it, but I've done it where I can like feel I feel like a pole almost, like you're being
Yeah,
pulled. But then I
that's
always
what
get
it was.
freaked out, so I stop.
Yeah, and well, I was at the pulling
we were
part,
supposed
and I
to
was about to grab
up,
the
yeah.
rope and start pulling up the rope, which was what the meditation was.
Yeah.
So I finally got my soul separate, and I was about to reach up, and hello.
That is
Oh my God.
fucking
me.
evil.
We're behind
I
you.
slammed back in my body so fast.
Yeah, your body was like, come back.
Yeah.
I'm
Get
like,
back in here.
what is that? I'm like, shut this off. I was in a deep fucking
You're like,
sleep.
I'm
We thought it was
napping.
like the meditation. We were like, whoever put this sound effect in here is so fucked up.
We thought it was they
Logan's
put it
giggling.
in the meditation.
He
Yeah,
is
we hear
evil.
Logan-
Divorce.
Oh my
Set door
gosh.
open.
Straight to jail.
All right, so
Anyway,
this is
God.
Serenity's second story. My family friends experience. Oh, sorry. Number 2. My family friends experience. For this experience, I'm going to be using different names, just out of the courtesy of my family friends that were all involved in this encounter. This whole thing happened with our family friend, let's call him Robert. And the scariest part is that he doesn't even remember a single thing that happened. This happened a while back when I was in the 7th grade, I believe. I was in a confirmation class at church, and Robert, along with some of my other family friends, were also in this class. Our church pastor at the time decided he wanted to do a little camping trip with the class, and so we went to Camp Lucerne. That's probably mispronounced wrong by my end. Sorry. A campsite that as kids, we all heard stories from our older siblings about how it was haunted because of a little girl that had died in the lake there. I don't know, but most of us kids didn't believe it. And I thought it was just their way to tease the younger kids and whatnot. Anyways, we were extremely excited to go on this trip because we were told other confirmation students from other churches would be there as well. So eventually, the time to go camping comes, and the entire class is beyond excited. We're all very close, so we were all super happy to be camping with each other. We get to the campsite and we have an amazing weekend there. Nothing bad happening at all. No paranormal activity. No spooky voice shouting things in the halls. And no dead little girl to be seen anywhere. Oh. We thought everything was completely fine. That was until the last night we were at camp. It was a Saturday night and we were leaving Sunday morning around 9 to 10 a.m. So everyone went to sleep fairly early. All the girls slept on the 3 bedrooms that were on the right side of the youth lodge, while the boys slept on the 3 bedrooms that were on the left side of the lodge. There actually weren't that many boys, so they only took up 2 of the rooms. All the girls in my room decided it would be funny to mess with the boys for the last night, so we packed all our stuff and decided to sleep in the empty room on the boys' side. We were at the end room and knocked on the wall leading to the middle room where most of the boys were sleeping. We tried whisper shouting out their names in a scary voice and knocking more on the walls trying to get them scared. After around 5 minutes of doing that, we heard all 6 of the boys sleeping in the room, screaming short screams. We were laughing at first because we finally thought we scared them. But after they all screamed again after us not doing anything to them, we knew something else was up.
Oh.
We didn't want to wake our pastor because we didn't want to get in trouble for sleeping on the boys' side. And we didn't want to knock on the boys' room because then they know we were trying to mess with them. So instead, all of us girls just went to sleep. The next morning, while we were waiting for our ride from the campsite back to church, I went up to Robert's friend. We'll call him Mark. Okay. Mark and asked him 2 questions. If he had heard us trying to tease him last night, in which he answered, of course. And then my second question was why they were screaming their asses off the previous night. He was hesitant to tell me at first, but eventually I got all the details. Mark told me they wanted to pull an all-nighter just for the hell of it, but Robert ended up falling asleep around 3 a.m. They were playing cards when Robert got out of bed and started wandering around the room for a bit. Keep in mind, it's a pretty small room with 3 bunk beds taking up pretty much the entire room. He was walking around for a bit, but again, they didn't think much of it. Then at some point, Robert fell face forward to the ground and landed in a plank-like position. He was balancing his entire weight with one arm, and when the rest of the boys went to go check it out, they saw that Robert's eyes were closed, as if he was sleeping.
What the F?
Sleep
now, all of this
planking. Wow.
Sleep planking. You remember him playing?
What year was this?
Was this 2012? Especially while sleeping. Robert then started making somewhat loud growling noises at the rest of the boys, which caused them to scream.
Yeah.
The first scream the girls and I heard. Robert's younger brother, we'll call him Steven, was also there and staying in the room as well. Steven was up playing cards with the boys and was witnessing Robert do all of this. He got closer to his brother to try and wake him, gently tapping on him, shaking him, but then Robert jumped up from the plank position and started heading towards his brother, making Steven hit his head on one of the wood bed frames. This was when us girls heard the last scream that they did. After Robert lunged towards Steven, he fell to the floor and started lightly snoring, as if he went straight back to sleep and nothing happened. The next morning, the boys asked if he remembered any of it, and he straight up just said no. The best part about all of this was that Mark had this entire experience on video. Of course, this was more than 5 years ago, so it was taken on a really outdated phone, but Mark still has the video somewhere in that phone, which is even more chilling. After watching that video, I never thought of Robert the same, and to this day, he still doesn't remember anything from that night besides going to sleep and waking up. Again, like I mentioned before, this could all be because Robert was simply sleepwalking, but I'm not too sure. He doesn't have a past of doing that, and being at that haunted campsite just made me question even more. What do you guys think?
Oh, well,
demon.
How old were they? Like 13 or 14?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
13 or 14.
I mean, I had a friend at that point in time that we were all at church camp, and he started experiencing night terrors, which because that's the time for like young guys to start experiencing it if they're going to, and something similar happened. But I don't want to be reasonable about it. I want to say that he was possessed. So
yeah,
obviously.
But I also know that like kids, specifically boys, are like, let me do this. This would be so fun.
Like a little dramatic, like a little like they want to stir things up. Yeah.
If you can plank with one arm, then you should show it off.
That's
the point.
The physical aspect, I don't think would be possible. But yeah, sleep planking or whatever is possessing him likes to plank
with one arm.
With one arm.
Yeah.
I just like
just reminds me of like those guys that do the one-handed push-ups. You know?
Maybe it was a ghost of someone from 2012. It was like, okay.
And they had passed from planking.
Wait till there's sleep parkour, then we're all screwed.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Sleep parkour.
We're just like jumping off bridges.
This is her fun fact. When I was binging the podcast, I heard the story about the Conjuring house. The Conjuring and Insidious series are mine and my siblings' favorite horror movies. So when we went to Rhode Island for my uncle's funeral back in 2019, we went to visit the real Conjuring house. It was me, 3 of my cousins, 1 of my older sisters, and my older brother. We were obviously too pussy to even go near the driveway, so we literally just did a quick drive-by while blasting our favorite Christian songs, and honestly, that was scary enough. We all took videos and pictures of hallelujah. Just driving by.
Yeah,
I feel like the people who live there are like, oh, yep, happening again.
Happening again.
Oh, God.
They all took videos and pictures, and in one of the videos, which she believes could be totally bullshit, but from what she's seen as well is what several of her cousins have seen in the barn. If you zoom in into one of the videos, it looks like there are 3 people standing in the barn next to the house. All 3 of them are wearing nightgowns that are seen in like the 70s or the 80s. One of them also seemed to be looking outside the window, straight at us, which again, we only saw in the video after we left. Again, that could totally be bullshit, but it looked too real for it to be bullshit in all honesty. But yeah, that's my little fun fact. So much respect for you ladies for keeping up with the pod for so long. And even though I've only been a supporter for a short amount of time, I'm super proud of you guys and can't wait to see what you guys accomplish in the future. With lots of love, Serenity.
Thank you so much, Serenity.
Thanks, Serenity.
I appreciate Serenity for ending on a fun fact.
Yeah.
Because
I know.
There's a lot there.
Did she attach the vid?
Not that I know of.
We need the vid, Serenity.
But
all right.
Yeah, that was crazy.
That was whack.
All right.
All right, Em.
So this one is from Murphy, who uses she, her pronouns. Thank you for normalizing pronouns, Murphy. And
You said that on our show.
And Murphy says, "Hey, I'm Murphy. Hey, Murphy. I have some terrifying witchy shit to tell y'all, but first I want to say that y'all crack me, the fuck up. I love you, and I am fairly picky about my podcast binges. Okay, so there are only 2 things I listen to on repeat, and y'all became my 3rd a few months ago. And I've tried many.
Good
okay,
job.
well, now I'm insecure. I'm
I know. I'm like, am I one of the 2? No, probably not.
If they're listening to us, they're definitely probably listening to you.
I don't know. Listen, they're picky about their binges. I get it.
Well, Murphy says, please, please, please keep going. So
Thank you, Murphy.
I'll still listen when we're 84. I say we, but I'm a good 8 years older than y'all. But seriously, keep up the good work, and I'm so incredibly happy for y'all reaping in the rewards of all your hard work.
Aw,
Thank you.
Now on to the scary shit. So I am kind of a medium. Heh, just kidding. I'm a large. Okay.
Oh my God.
I have heard and
Murphy's a
seen
comedian.
I have heard and seen supernatural things for as long as I can remember, but sadly I'm not practiced enough to do any like really cool woo-woo shit yet. Sometimes it has been helpful, like when I was 8 years old and was walking home from a friend's house. I heard a man tell me to run, but there was no one nearby. I froze and frantically looked around because 1, it legit sounded like he was talking into my ear, and 2, this wasn't the absolute safest neighborhood, but there was no one, and the man then yelled, "Run, Murphy, run."
Oh my God.
So my panicked ass noped faster than I thought possible until I got home, and thankfully Mr. Ghostman saved me, maybe, possibly. I don't know, but other times it fucking sucks. I get these weird sick feelings in my stomach when someone I love dies or has something disastrous happen. It's like the pit of my stomach falls out and my insides drop 10 floors on a rogue elevator. That falling feeling mixed with an intense blood-chilling fear. Top notes of dread, true sorrow. Unfortunately, I have a couple siblings who get into a lot of trouble, so that has become a more familiar feeling as we've grown up. But anyways, I actually was trying to tell you 2 stories about demons with an exclamation point.
Yay! Let's bring the Ouija boards.
Feel free to just read one. Joke's on you, Murphy. I'm reading both. I couldn't decide between the 2, and it won't hurt my feelings. Murphy, I'm reading both. Okay.
Your feelings
Murphy,
are
calm
safe.
down.
Feelings are safe.
First one, my Aunt Eudora is more spiritually gifted than I am.
Yeah, her name's Eudora. Of course she is. Eudora is like has a crystal ball.
Eudora.
She was meant to like live in an attic amongst all the creepy
The
books,
cobwebs
you know?
and the crystal balls. Yeah.
Yeah. She's friends with all the potions themselves. So
She literally is who they modeled the Haunted Mansion right after.
Yeah, she's actually a floating head in a ball upstairs.
That's exactly who she is.
She's amazingly eccentric and just plain legendary. I fucking love her. And late one night when I was 20-ish, we were sitting out back next to the fire pit smoking some giggle grass. That's the first I've ever heard it called that.
Oh, I love the name.
We were singing and playing guitar, just being good little hippies. And I was staying with my mom, and my aunt lived in a fifth-wheel trailer behind the house on a couple acres. So we were secluded enough to not have to worry about bothering neighbors with our noise. After a little while, we were just sitting in the grass, facing each other, talking about life. Everything was really peaceful, and I felt a kid climb onto my lap, and I instinctively wrapped my arms around him. My mom ran an at-home daycare, so I was used to having children climbing on me constantly. I wiggled a little to fix my seat to let him sit more comfortably. Then I realized that there was no one there. There was no one on my fucking lap, but I could feel the weight of the body. I silently looked up to my aunt with wide eyes, and she calmly said, "There's a little boy on your lap, but he's not really here."
Oh, okay.
I did it's like, shoo shoo.
And then Eudora's like, anyway, next verse, key change.
I did a super cute little squeal grunt noise and pushed him off, jumped up, and tried to shake off my goosebumps with his ghost cooties.
No, not the ghost cooties.
My aunt continued to tell me that she saw him and an older girl with short black hair frequently just around the farm. Even crazier, I'd had dreams about them with the same description. She said she saw him following me sometimes, but didn't tell me because he wasn't being bothersome. But actually, I know y'all understand that's reasonable to me. There have now been plenty of times that I let a spirit stick around if it's chill. But a little while later, when we split ways to go to bed, the little shit got bothersome.
Oh, no.
My aunt had sat down on her RV steps to smoke a cigarette, and I guess the little boy decided to show her his displeasure at her interrupting our moment. She saw a flash of him, and he told her to leave his mommy alone, meaning me. Hard pass.
Oh, shit.
So you've imprinted on him? He's imprinted on you? Ugh.
Yeah.
So he thinks you're his mom.
Nightmare fuel.
I just feel like Eudora's behind this.
I would
don't know.
never have a kid. Like after that, I would
Alive or dead? No.
I would literally never fucking have one because I'd be so scared to death that that little demon would come out of me.
Exactly. Or think about if this person, if she actually did have a kid, and now this ghost is jealous.
The ghost would have
now it's gonna
vengeance.
Harm your kid. Oh,
No, thank you.
Well, I hate that. Then she felt something reach from underneath the RV and claw her leg.
Ew.
He ran his nails down her leg an inch, and she screamed out in pain and fear. She said she had never felt anything so evil in her life. And this bitch has seen some things. Still screaming, Eudora ran toward the house where I heard her and hurried to the back door. By the time I opened it, she was only about 20 or 30 feet away, and I could feel something sinister chasing her. It was so strong that it looked like a huge dark blur following her. She rushed into the house, we slammed the door, and I saw the scratch marks on her leg. 4 thin lines that sure as hell looked like someone had dragged their nails down her thigh. That night, we cleansed the entire property, and neither of us heard from either of the kids again.
Oh, good.
Oh my God.
I have forehead chills.
That's a lot, Eudora.
Yo.
That's like exposed legs is like one of my biggest fears.
Yeah.
Like on the bed or like having an open space below me. Like if something touches my legs and I can't see where it's coming from, I lose my fucking shit.
I was in a lake
like,
recently
float in
and
the
I was
river.
like, this is extremely upsetting. Like, I can't see what's down there. I'm out.
I get
Yeah.
scared sleeping like this because I'm afraid a ghost is going to get my armpits, like tickle me.
Oh my god, tickle my
really?
armpits.
Like, I just feel like someone's going to go, you know?
Wait, I actually always sleep like
I
that.
do too. Em and I just talked about this. We were like, it's so weird. I sleep like this. And Em was like, so do I.
I get so scared
God.
though. I'm hyper aware of my armpits even if I'm alone in the room. And
I'm either
it's
like this, like with my hands, like
like
on
a
my
little
feet.
praying angel baby.
I do. Yeah, I really do. I mean,
Look,
on
you're
my,
like my cherub.
Oh
on
my God.
side,
You are the little cherub.
or I'm like this, like with my legs crossed, like diagonal on the bed, which Erin does not like.
No,
that.
I'm face down on the bed.
She does. She sleeps on her stomach.
Like suffocating.
You're a rarity. I don't know many people who stomach sleep.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Both me and my husband stomach sleep. We'll
Really?
like cuddle
Crazy.
and then we'll be like, all right, time to separate, time to go to bed. It's stomach time.
What's
And then-
even-
Time.
What's even weirder, I've never met anyone who actually sleeps like they're miming sleep.
That's true. This part's wild.
I
That's
have
crazy.
pictures of me like as a child where I was always like this. like laying on the couch, and I have to always have something touching my face. So Taylor makes fun of me, but I always have my blanket like up here.
She'll
So
snap
like
at
I'll
you,
like pull my blanket up and like wrap it around my neck, and like it has to be touching my face. But no, I have pictures of me like this as a child, and I think it's just carried on that I have to have that, like,
Aw.
I don't know.
I bet when
it's
you
like
got
you
henna
were-
tattoos. It was fucked.
It's like you were drawn that way, like a
that happened
cartoon
to
or
me.
something. Yeah.
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 There's more to Murphy's story, actually.
Oh,
There's a
sorry.
second story.
Sorry, Murphy. Sorry, Murphy.
Sir Murphy.
Not to interrupt our sleeping, our miming sleeping. On to story number 2. When my son Nico was only about 2 years old, my husband David and I moved into a mobile home on the outskirts of town. Like far enough out to be country, but not really. Let's be real, this was near the seedy side of a South Texas city, so cartel issues were not unheard of. But this seemed like a safe RV park, and the mobile home was what the owners of the park used to live in. It was the only stationary house in the RV park, but the managers were a sweet elderly couple who lived permanently in the RV right next to us. Now that I'm writing this, that should have been red flag number 1. But I just assumed they needed the money and were fine with a smaller space, so they were renting the house out for a while and living in the RV. That said, they never had an issue since they lived there, so it sounded safe, which when you have a toddler is obviously important. But a week in, we had a break-in.
Oh,
We came home to our dogs having been shut in a bedroom after being let out of their kennels that stayed in a completely different bedroom. Ugh.
what?
One of those kennels was 185% locked up because that dog was a Houdini. So the kennel had metal clasps all over
I've
to
had one of
prevent
those
any
kind of
escape.
dogs.
So they
And it
like
was out.
So the kennel was open when it should have
and
been
it had many
impossible to be
latches. It's
opened.
not like the dog just bumped
a
into it.
robber
Yeah,
took
and the dog
out.
would let them out of the kennel to put them in a different room without the kennel.
Weird.
Maybe
So there's
he was
no
like an animal activist.
Yeah, he's like, be free, but kind of.
Be free, but I'll lock you in this room instead.
But also at the same time, there's a lot of dogs I've seen that are like really impressive with their Houdini tricks.
Yeah,
That's true.
But the fact
That's
that
true.
both dogs are out is also weird. Like, out
Yeah,
of both
that is weird.
kennels is weird too.
Yeah. Unless one Houdini'd out and then Houdini'd the other.
That would have
It's
been
like-
really thoughtful that he didn't leave his friend behind.
Yeah.
He definitely left his
But
friend.
no, something did that. for
We
sure.
know he left his friend.
I know for a fact.
Well, not only had the dogs gotten out, but a few cupboards were open, some drawers, but nothing was taken. There was no sign of forced entry, and I called the cops anyway just to have it reported because I keep record of everything
so
just to be safe.
This is a ghost we're
Right.
talking.
That's how it feels to
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
The cupboard sold me.
Yeah, the cupboards are
For
what
sure.
did it for sure.
I wonder
They
what
spoke
their
to the-
obsession is with that.
Well, I don't know. Just to
It
be
feels very
Kitchen cupboards.
poltergeist.
an
I guess.
asshole.
I wonder
Maybe
if it's because
it's
it's
about
really
light.
obvious to us. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Not to me. My husband leaves them all the time.
He is a ghost.
It's either a ghost or someone with ADHD. I'm not sure which one.
Yes.
Which one's worse? I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, me either. They spoke to the manager for me, and the manager, let's call him Dick, which if we're choosing that name for him, I'd have to
Must
guess
have some
that this person's an
symbolism.
asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And he said that he hadn't seen or heard anything. It was weird because one of the dogs was a huge Brazilian Mastiff, and just the sight of him would make Chuck Norris shit his pants. I mean, he was afraid of his own shadow at the time because he was a puppy, but he was a 110-pound hunk of muscle. So it was hard to picture someone having the genitals to open his kennel and lock him in another room on the other side of the house.
So weird.
This was around the time that I had started feeling the presence of an older lady spirit in the living room sometimes. About a week or so later, it happened again. We walked in the door to find all 3 dogs had been moved from their kennel and locked in the other bedroom.
What the fuck?
Only this time, there was a terrible cliche, and we all guessed it. Every cupboard and drawer in the kitchen were open, and almost every dish had been thrown across the
Oh
room.
my
Oh my
god.
god.
I would be fucking livid.
Live it.
Oh my god.
You crossed the
soon-
line, lady.
I'm still reverting back to the original story that it was the little boy ghost who's jealous now of baby Noah.
Yeah.
Is
not
it
Noah. What's
Is it
his
Noah?
Naomi. No.
I think it was Nico.
Nico.
It could be.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's also this
That's right.
old woman apparently is just walking around too. Oh, as soon as I walked in, I felt the old lady in the living room. I forgot to mention that this was during a time in my life that I was pushing back my spiritual gifts because I was being naively convinced that it was an abomination, gross, and I was never to give in to the temptations the devil used to lure me. Okay. That person should have been renamed Dick, by the way.
That's Dick.
So I called the cops again, and hindsight being 2020, it clearly wasn't a human doing this, but my brain was so stuck on thinking I was wrong. They came out and talked to Dick again, who this time said he had a security camera pointed at my house and saw nothing on it. First of all, why did Dick have a camera pointed at my living room window?
Literally. What?
That's weird.
Even I was too scared at this point, and although I'll admit that I more than humored the idea that Dick was the one doing all of this. Oh, maybe he was the one doing all this. Interesting. The next few days, I started hearing the faint sound of children singing coming from the middle room, which was ironically my music room.
Oh.
Wow. Fuck right off with that. Absolutely.
Let's throw it all away. Burn it.
It's broken now.
I mean, that scarred her forever becoming a music teacher. I would have been like, fuck that.
Never again.
Don't ever put me in a classroom.
Every
with
time
kids.
children singing, she's like, ah! Like, no, you're at a choir concert.
You're at a school. Yeah.
Nico's just in the choir.
Nico's like, Mom, I told you not to do this.
So now there's children singing in her music room.
Good.
That was where I kept my instruments, music books, and of course my music stand. It was one of those charcoal colored metal ones that they use at school in band class, and my dad was a music teacher, so somehow I ended up with it. Anyways, whenever I would hear the children singing, I would go and whip open the door like I expected there to be a group of actual live children practicing in my music room. How that was a better option in my mind, I don't know, but every time I opened the door, the sounds would stop. Ooh. After a few days of this, I noticed that there was something carved into the paint on my music stand. It was geometric, and somehow I can't remember exactly what it looked like. You'd think it would be burned into my mind, but mom brain. It had like a triangle, 2 lines, a circle somewhere, but I took a picture and sent it to my dad. He is also a pastor and went to seminary, and he said he didn't know what it meant, but that it made him fearful. That was all I needed to
know
hear.
What it is?
What?
It's
what?
From the third Conjuring that came in my house. That was the sign that was underneath. It was the triangle with the circle in the middle, but it was with tied ropes. With
Yes. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. That
So
woman
it's like-
attacked me in my sleep.
Like this with a circle.
Yeah.
But there's a line through the circle.
It's
right?
like an altar with Okay, remember that thing that you covered that had the eggs in the woods, and actually Em covered it first, and I forced you to cover it like 4 years later. Yeah. Remember the like
conjuring altars. I'm looking them up.
that they posted the picures on Twitter, and
So
it was
that
like
was
the
just
front door.
sketched into
Her music
music?
stand where she was hearing singing.
Oh.
So
It's
apparently
like
her
the kids singing. What if they were like singing like summonings or something like that?
Forget it.
Forget that.
So apparently her dad is terrified of it. I called the closet. Not the closet. I called the
closet.
Well, I
and
called
Em
the
answered because
closest.
Em is in a closet. Hello, this is Em in the closet.
I called the closest Catholic church and asked the priest to meet me. I was surprised when he said he would come by the house the next day. I told him I wasn't Catholic and he had never met me before. For all he knew, I was nuts, but he's a stand-up guy, so he came. Or so I thought. I can't really remember what exactly he said when he came to my house, but basically it felt like he thought that I was battling mental illness.
Oh, no.
He did draw holy oil crosses across the doors and windows and prayed a blessing over the house to appease me, but I knew that I was going to have to buck up and get rid of it myself. The next day, my best friend came over with her son, who was 3 at the time. We were sitting on the couch talking about what was going on, and the boys were playing on the floor. All of a sudden, we heard a loud cracking pop noise. Then the house started rapidly filling with smoke.
What?
My best friend and I beasted that shit, and I will never not be impressed with how smoothly we reacted. I screamed, "Get the boys," as I started rounding up my dogs. I got them all out and started my Jeep and threw the boys and dogs in. I had to run back inside because I also have a cat.
Oh, no.
Oof, that was fun getting her in the cat carrier in a literal hell house.
Oh, shit.
Anyways,
Fuck
we drove my car to the other side of the parking lot in case the house blew up, and the fire department came and said that the AC unit had caught on fire, but luckily hadn't spread out beyond the closet it was in. They said once the smoke cleared, the house would be okay to inhabit, but I gave precisely 0 fucks about how okay the house was. I marched in, grabbed that literally damned music stand, and chucked it in the dumpster. I didn't have a way to destroy it, so I hope it still isn't out there bringing its little demon friends into other people's houses. I don't know if whatever that was even was attached to it, since it wasn't haunted before we moved in, but I'd had that stand for years, but I wasn't taking the chance. I called the landlord and told him I would be out the next day, and the demon was clearly smudging me out of the home, and I wasn't about to make it take a second shot. And that concludes my novel. Again, sorry for the length, but love y'all, Murphy.
Wow,
Love you,
Murphy.
but what the fuck?
That is some trauma, Murphy.
Oh my God. Not only are you having to like get your friend's kid, your dog's
A
out,
cat?
and you gotta go back in for a cat.
Like that goddamn
My cats
cat.
would beat the shit out of me if I tried to get them.
They'd be
They
like,
would eat my arm.
they'd be like, I'd rather live with the demons now. I'm comfortable
Yeah.
here. Leave me behind.
Exactly.
Listen,
I just think the scariest part is the symbolism. That means that shit is dark.
no, it's demonic.
Dark. Fully.
dark and powerful. It's scary.
What was that sound?
Did you
I
hear
heard that? Yeah, who was that?
I think that was from Em's mic, but I don't know what it was.
I didn't do anything. I'm just sitting here.
I know, but there was like a weird like screech
Another
sound.
voice?
It was like,
Yeah,
It was like a
yeah.
hold
Yeah,
it. I heard
Can't
hold
hear
it.
it.
that's exactly what it sounded like.
You heard hold it?
Hold it.
Wait, we gotta
I thought I
like
heard
you
someone
guys
talking.
afterwards. Like, send us the clip. I want to know.
What's it?
I will.
116. 116.
Okay.
now I'm
Okay.
now I'm scared that was on mine. I'm just blaming Em, but I'm
Hold
like,
it.
it's Em's ghost, not mine.
I was like in my ear for sure.
I'm gonna text it the timestamp so we don't forget.
Thank you, Murphy, for sending that in.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Murphy.
Thank you so much, Murphy, for
Yes.
sending that in. But what the fuck?
What
I
Wait,
hate
what was
it.
the first story? Oh, the clawing little kid.
Yeah.
I'm convinced that kid has
Went with
just
them.
followed you.
He was pissed and rounded up his other school children friends
Yeah.
and said, we're
And
all
his
singing
granny.
at this girl's place.
And his granny, because there was a old,
Oh, yeah.
oh my god!
and he took his music class, and he was
Or
like,
what
"Fuck
if that
this."
older the one because Aunt Eudora saw an older girl that was often roaming with
with
him.
the boy.
What
Probably
if
his
it was
mom.
actually like an older woman?
That totally
his
makes
life.
sense.
Or what if it was an older spirit there and he was like, you're my mommy and you're my grandmommy, and they're all both like, we did not agree to this. Maybe the
Wow.
old lady was his
We
new
didn't sign
grandma.
Leave my mommy alone.
Ugh.
Fuck that.
That's
shit.
Anyway, thanks,
Horrifying.
Murphy.
Thanks a
Thanks,
lot,
Murphy.
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 Yeah, thanks a lot.
All right, so this was sent in by anonymous she, her. I love that we still get the pronouns.
Yeah.
It says, I just wanted to start this off by saying I love you two. You two. So very much. Creeps and Crimes
Maybe
was the
you
first
two, too.
podcast. Well, I wouldn't go that far. Maybe. Creeps and Crimes was the first podcast I ever started listening to, and you all made me fall in love with podcasts in general. That's so nice.
Aww,
Listening to you feels like I am getting to sit down with my besties and is always such a place of comfort for me. After listening for almost 2 years and being part of the OG Pick Me cult, I am finally mustering
What's
up the
our Patreon?
courage to write to you all. First,
thank
I will
you.
start out with my creepy stories. My childhood home was built sometime in the 1890s and is located in a small town with a population around 3,000, so very small, in rural southern Missouri. Growing up, I had many scary experiences in this house, although many of them are small and too irrelevant to write about. So here are the 3 of the most traumatizing, LOL.
Thanks.
When I was a kid, my parents remodeled the attic and turned it into my bedroom. I was at home alone with my dad one afternoon after school.
Why did they do that to her?
My parents did that to me too. Em's seen it. Our old ass house from the 1860s.
They
Mom
said
was like,
put
"You
her
can
in
live
the
in this.
attic?
You can live in the attic."
Christine lives in what looks like a horror movie.
It looks like the set of a horror movie. It's so stupid. I was at home alone with my dad one afternoon after school, and he was working the remodel upstairs. I was inside and heard my dad banging around upstairs, not thinking much of it. I went to the kitchen to grab a snack. As I walked into the kitchen, I saw outside the window that sat above the kitchen sink, there was my dad.
Bye.
Outside.
Bye. Doppelganger.
Outside cutting boards
Wow.
just outside the garage. Needless to say, I ran outside crying to my dad, telling him there was someone else inside the house. My dad came inside and checked out the upstairs and assured me I was just hearing things and went back outside, parentheses, thanks,
We love
Dad.
dads.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad.
Such a dad move.
It is. It's
Yeah.
like, nope, nothing
Typical.
here. So we had a small creek that ran through our backyard and set the property line between us and our neighbors behind us. One night I was woken up in the middle of the night as I heard my dad up and making noise. I got out of bed to see what was going on, and my dad told me our neighbor's house had caught on fire. 911 had been called and were on the way. With all the ash flying over into our yard, hot ash was landing on our roof. Oh my God. Worried that this hot ash would catch our house on fire, my dad does the most dad thing ever and sits on the roof with the garden hose. Oh no.
Oh my God.
That really is the most paternal thing I've ever
Literally
heard.
like he's like, I've been
I'm going down with this house.
he's like, I was born for this moment. Give me the
You're like, where are you going, Dad? I'm going on the roof.
Give me the hose.
I can hear it already. Yeah.
Bucky Mounts.
Throw me the hose.
I'm going to war.
He sits on the roof with a garden hose and starts spraying the roof down. Pretty quickly, the fire department got there, put the fire out, and unfortunately, one person had died in the fire. Oh, no.
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
Later that night, laying in my bunk bed trying to fall asleep, my bedroom door started to creak open. My door was always cracked open as a kid, as I was terrified in my bedroom and sleeping alone due to all the small scary shit that continuously happened while we lived there, seemingly only that I noticed. Also, I was the only child in the home, but nonetheless, it never happened on its own like that. Being terrified, I yelled for my mom and nothing. She couldn't hear me yell for her, maybe just due to her being a heavy sleeper. When I realized no one was coming, I decided to pull my covers over my head because, of course, as we all know, the blanket will protect you from ghosts somehow.
100%.
Right.
100%.
A blanket for it.
It's rule number 1.
Every time.
Yeah.
After a couple minutes, I decided to peek my head out from under the covers to see if the door had opened anymore. Big mistake.
Oh, fuck.
No, fuck.
When I looked out at my room, I saw a figure, entity, whatever you want to call it, of a, oh my God,
What?
of a burned human. So badly burned that you could not tell any identifying features. You could just tell they were human, and it was standing right in the doorway. The second it noticed I was looking at it, all of my collectible Barbies flew off the shelves, and it hovered over my bed fast. Wait, what? Okay. Oh, hovered
Wait,
over
now it's
to
like-
my
oh.
bed. Sorry, over
Okay.
to my bed. I forgot the
Ooh.
preposition. Oh my Lord. Okay. It hovered
Okay.
over to my bed fast, not walking, almost teleporting, until he was at the edge of my top bunk looking at me.
Forget it fully.
I hate bunk beds for
When
that
you're
reason.
trapped up there, like you're trapped. All I could do in that moment was hide back under the covers and pray to God that it would go away. I probably laid under the covers for another 15 minutes just waiting and listening. And when I was finally brave enough to uncover my head and look, everything was back where it was to start with.
The
Bye.
Barbies
The
were back.
Barbies, the door,
fuck.
everything.
What?
After that night.
So wait, was she on top bunk or bottom
I think
bunk?
top
Quick
bunk.
question.
It looked.
She's on top bunk. So like just at the bottom, she could see him, like just his face probably.
Yeah, so I think he just like came over right up to.
Just stood face to face.
Yeah, it's what it sounds like. Forget it.
And for 15 minutes, like, whatever happened to those ghosts that you blink and they're gone? What the hell?
Where are
Right.
they?
Why was someone just there? Well, I always used to think my blanket was like Harry Potter's like
Invisibility
blanket.
cloak.
Yeah.
Yeah, the invisibility cloak. But you know,
I like that
was
though.
my
I feel like
protection, was the invisibility
it's the
cloak.
intention. You're like, I'm invisible,
Yeah.
and hopefully
I think-
it works.
If little kids, like, who are more spiritually in tuned, if something in their body tells them that a blanket is safe, I'm riding with
Just
the
go
blanket.
for
Me
it.
too.
Me too. Me
Yeah.
too.
It's
They're
a,
onto
it's a
something.
cliche for a reason, you know.
Yeah.
Ghosts can't penetrate blankets.
It's too bad, but it does make sense why Morgan sleeps with her blanket up to her eyeballs. or
Maybe that is
whatever.
like totally like trauma.
Maybe you were like, I'm
related.
just hiding.
Might need to get this cleared.
Yeah, I sleep with my blankie up there.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I actually think it's not a bad idea. Everything was back where it was to start with. The Barbies, the door, everything. After that night, I forced my parents to get me those old round LED light strips to put around my bunk bed, as the light surrounding me was the only way I felt safe at night. Of course, when I told my parents about this the next day, my parents told me it was just a bad dream. I insisted it wasn't, but of course they didn't believe me. One day, my mom put me down for a nap in her bedroom. As I was laying in her room while she was in her office working, I looked up at the ceiling fan to see a woman.
Bye.
She was in the ceiling fan and had no fucking legs.
Girl, I can't even process what
What
that
is
means.
going
What are you?
on?
She's in the fan.
Is she
Oh my God.
spinning?
Like the legs, like the fan has like cut off
Like
the
it's a
legs, so it's
genie?
just like a.
In a bottle.
Is
Or
she
is she
holding
just,
on
like,
for dear
protruding?
life?
Is half of
Is
her
her
body
hair
protruding as a
just whipping?
fan wing? So she's just like in the midst.
She's like just a head on a fan, like wee.
Right.
She's like tubing on a lake, just like holding on.
Oh my Lord. Yeah, is the fan on? Like I have a lot of questions. Oh my lord. She was in the ceiling fan and had no fucking legs. Her clothes were old, dirty, and torn. And as I looked up at her, shocked in horror, she came down from the ceiling fan and knocked me off my mom's bed.
Girl, she landed on you? She landed on you?
She knocked you off?
She got thrown off the damn tube.
I feel like she did that thing on a...
She hit a wake.
She hit away. I feel like it's that trampoline thing where if you double bounce, you can like launch someone off. So like she launched off the fan and like boing, went flying off the other.
Wait, I'm just like trying to process this. You see someone slinging around on your fan,
and they jumped out,
and then they literally just sack the fuck out of you off the bed. You're hit now.
It's like they wait till you see them, and then they're like, okay, go.
Also, like, what did this woman look like when she landed on? Was it like, did she look like she was intentionally aiming for you? Did she go like and like
body
wrestler
slam?
land? Cannonball? Yeah.
This is horrifying.
Cannonball on you. Wait, yeah, do you call this a 1-2, Em?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do a 1-2?
Do a 1-2?
Yeah.
Oh my lord. She knocked me off my mom's bed. As soon as I hit the floor, I immediately started sobbing and hopped my little ass up off that floor so fast to go run to my room to run to my mom. Of course, as usual, my mom told me I must have been dreaming and fell off the bed. Why the fuck do parents never believe their kids? That's the end of the story. Holy
No,
crap.
really though.
That's not the lesson I was
Wow.
expecting to learn.
I'm just like, the second Leona is like, there's something, I'm like, we're moving. You're right.
When
I
Leona
believe
comes
you.
to you and says, "Mom, there was a woman swinging on the fan and she 1-2'd me. She cannonballed into your bed while I was napping there." Well, what are you gonna do? What do you say?
Yeah. As the resident mom in this group,
I know what I would do. I would.
What's your plan?
I would get on. I'd say, emergency, a podcast recording. Hop on the mic. We're gonna let Leona tell her story and make content out of it. Because why not just,
I feel like
Taylor.
she's gonna then tell a story about how she like flew into the basement and saw herself standing there smiling.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. I didn't need to be reminded.
I'm gonna cut her
of that.
mic after that. I don't want to know that part yet. I'm like,
You've been cut
done.
off.
you've been cut off. Sorry, your mic's no longer hot, or you're out. Oh Lord.
Okay, so the next story we have is from Lucy using she, they pronouns.
Double
Okay.
pronouns.
Hey,
Oh.
Lucy.
Double pronouns. It says, "Hey, my name is Lucille, she, they. I love y'all, and I just text Susan.
Oh, that's our medium.
I can't
Susan.
wait to talk to her, but on to the stories. Susan's the official psychic angelic medium of Creeps and Crimes.
I have heard a lot about Susan.
Oh, yeah, I forget. We literally
I
tell
love
everyone.
Susan. I haven't even met Susan. I love Susan.
I know. I want Susan to
She's
come and
dope.
like do a reading of all the podcasters.
Oh, that'd be
Susan would-
great.
Susan would be like, "You guys have 30 million demons in here."
I was gonna say you should
You guys
get
are all fucked.
get all of the true crime podcasters or paranormal podcasters in one room, and it's like, who is the most unlucky out of all of us?
Exactly. Whose timeline is where? Who's up next? So bad. I've been calling it a sabbatical, but I took 4 months off of work for mental health and health reasons. Since then, I've returned back to work, and it's been about a month now. But I traveled solo for 4 months all over Oregon, part of Washington, Idaho, and Montana. Wow. LOL, in a car that I paid $500 for. I still can't believe that Edna is still running, to be honest.
Edna mode.
I've had a few encounters with beans. Okay, side note on what beans are is when I say beans, it sounds like I'm saying beans.
I understand. I was told I'm no longer allowed to do ads for Zip Recruiter because I keep saying Zipper Cooter. I have been told by Christine. She was like, "I'll just do the ads from now."
I'll handle it. No, what's my word? Molecules.
Good molecule.
Molecules?
I say good molecules, and I can't say
Molecule.
Can't
Girl,
say,
it's molecule. Are you okay?
I can't
Molecule,
say cules.
she says.
I say
Okay.
molecules.
We've all got our thing.
Or
no
she'll say
judgment.
molecule.
Molecules.
You're lying.
No, swear.
Swear to God, I can't say it in conversation. It's like so bad. I'm like, if we ever, because we really want to partner with them, but there's no way they will because all they hear me talk about them is saying good molecules.
Is it because you think? Is it because you're almost like you get it mixed up in your head between molecule and molecular, and you're saying molecular?
No, it's the southern.
Molecular.
So my
Same.
family is very, very,
First through
very
seventh.
southern.
So you have that twang to
I
ya.
had to get rid of my twang. And it's hard for me to say molecules, and it's hard for me to say rural.
Yeah. Oh, well, at least you never have to say it except for like moments like this.
Unless you go to Rural King every day, then you might have to say
Also, unless I'm reading a case and it's like it's a very rural type of area, and I'll just like speed through it. I'm like,
it's a very rural.
That's when you have a synonym memorized for rural. You're like, it was a small town.
It was a very country town. They had one Cracker Barrel and that was it.
One Rural King.
That was all. Okay, where was I at? Okay. I've had a few encounters with beings and human beings that have sketched me the fook out. The first one being when I stayed on the Oregon coast in an unfamiliar camping area. I was camping in my car. I was making dinner and I was listening to you guys when I started to notice a white single male circling the camping area 9 to 11 times in his car.
Ugh, trouble.
After about the fifth time he circled around, I started hiding. Again, I was by myself. I put up a sheet in all of my windows so no one could see in, and then I went to bed. At about 2:30 a.m., I woke up to someone yanking or feeling on the handle on the back of my trunk, which is where I was sleeping.
I don't know if I could have been able to fall. I
wouldn't have been able to fall
wouldn't have
asleep.
been able to fall asleep.
I
There's
could
no way.
hear
Pack it up and go elsewhere.
I could hear
Exactly.
them walking around my car until 5 a.m. At that point, I finally built up the courage to crawl into my front seat and bust the fuck out of that camping area, leaving everything. Going into town, I stopped at a gas station and took everything down in my back seat and went back to an area with service until it was light outside. Then I went back and grabbed everything and left after that. The second encounter was when I was by myself up in the Idaho-Washington area. Is Idaho beside the state of Washington?
Yeah, Idaho's up there.
Am I stupid? I literally did
Idaho's
not know
up
that.
there.
Pull it up.
No, Idaho, like
You're wrong.
Utah, Idaho.
Is it the chimney? Does the chimney go up and touch?
Hang
The
on.
chimney of Idaho.
USA map. Oh, Lord help me. I'm so stupid. Idaho is next to Oregon?
Yeah.
It touches
See?
Washington?
It goes to Alaska or Canada.
What?
I'm the dumbest person in this room.
That's
right
where
now.
potatoes come from?
I'm so close to potato country. How about that?
Oh my God.
Wait, yeah, you live in
We
California.
need...
You're like, where's Idaho?
I know there's Washington, Oregon, California. That's all I need to know.
Yeah, that's all you
That's
need
it.
to know. Wow, I had no idea about that. Thank you for letting me know. I was in the Washington, Idaho area, and I was cabin camping again by myself. Luckily, this cabin had a bathroom with a shower and a toilet in it, so I didn't have to wander off in the middle of the night to go find the bathroom or pee in my bucket. LOL. Thanks a lot.
No, not the bucket.
Everything was going fine and dandy up until the third night, when I started feeling eyes on me all times of the day and night. Keep in mind, I was literally the only person at this camping area other than the rangers down the hill, about a mile away. The last 2 nights that I was there, I was wide awake because I couldn't get the feeling off of me that someone was looking at me. And every now and again, out of the corner of my eye, I would see at the top of the door where there was a window, just a pair of eyes.
Ugh.
Like human eyes, with a forehead and hair and a nose bridge, just staring at me. But when I would look directly at it, it would not be there. I checked outside and there were no prints in the snow around the cabin other than 6-inch wolf paw prints. Like it was a lone wolf circling my cabin. It was a skinwalker.
Oh no, I know. No.
Also at this cabin, every day at around 4 p.m., still daylight, everything would go silent, like a switch. It'd be birds chirping, however many cars driving below in the valley, turkeys, horses, and cows. And then it all stopped at the exact second that it would turn 4 p.m. No movement whatsoever. They knew something that I didn't. Oh my God. Okay, lovely ladies, I love y'all and
That's all we
have
get?
binged
That's-
your
yeah.
episode, all of your episodes in 2 months. You lived 3 years of our lives in 2 months. That's why. That's crazy. Every Thursday, it is an amazing ride to work with you two. And if you want to hear more crimey things that have happened to me while I was house sitting, let me know, because I love house sitting and I am the type of person who vacuums the grass just to eavesdrop. Love you, bitches. Lucy.
So-
I thought that felt like that ended on a cliffhanger.
It did. I need to know more, Lucy.
Em, I have a question.
Yeah.
You might have an answer. do S dubs usually like hang around that same area? Like I feel like because
I have no
if
idea.
they saw the guy before like circling the car, right? That was how many days were they in the woods?
I mean, for a few months. They said it was a few months.
So like that's just I don't know. I feel like S dubs
4
they
months.
kind of
Whew.
Montana.
My best guess is like, I mean, they can shapeshift, right? So I mean, maybe it's just the same entity, but it looks different every time, or
Well,
it
all
looks
of the woods are connected.
But like I guess what I'm getting to is my understanding of them is that like when they receive like no acknowledgement or not that she wasn't acknowledging them, but whenever they are like realizing after a fucking week that they're not going to be able to get them, then they move on.
I guess
you know
so.
like and you see
that's
those
what I
videos
always
of-
thought.
Yeah, so like for 4 months if that was
I wonder if
What
this
if
one
that
was
was
persistent, or maybe they like had a buddy system where every like in shifts they would
there's
try.
more than one.
It's your turn.
Yeah,
It's
right.
like, I tap out. I've got work tomorrow.
I'm
Yeah.
done. I gotta go. I'm tired of being a wolf right now. I want to
Yeah.
go back to being the white man walking around.
I wonder, or maybe if they have like a personal like real gripe with you, maybe they like are willing to stick it out longer. I have no idea.
Right.
Yeah,
That's
I don't know
crazy.
either.
Okay. Well,
And
thank
they
you
were
so much,
like-
Lucy.
Pulling on the door.
I'm
handle,
glad
too.
you made it through.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Thanks,
I
Luce.
know.
The very last one, I always like to end these on like a little happy note. So this one was a sweeter one. It's sad, but it's sweet. This is the final story. This one is from Patti using she, her pronouns. Hi, my name is Patti, and I feel like I know the both of you from binging Creeps and Crimes for a while now. My story is not as creepy as it is an amazing blessing to me and my godson that we will never forget. But you still might get some forehead chills, so it's definitely worth the read. We forehead chills. I said that today. We haven't said that in forever. Mm-hmm. And it just randomly came out.
That's weird.
That's crazy.
You did say it today.
Yeah. 10 years ago in 2013, my lifelong friend lost her 5-year-old son to cancer. He was diagnosed when he was just 2 or 3. It was a brutally long and hard-fought battle. Everyone called her son Superman because he was so strong and he loved to dress up in any superhero costumes. Picture a tiny kid with those giant Hulk hands on, or a muscle-filled Spider-Man costume. So cute and completely badass for sure.
I love muscle costumes.
I love it.
Me too.
Superman's brother, my godson, and him were besties. My friend had 4 kids, 2 older, and then took a few years off. Then they had 2 younger boys. The boys were 2 years apart and really best buds. Of course, it was devastating for everyone when Superman passed, but especially for my godson, who was 7 at the time. He lost his pal, and he was definitely at a loss as to what he could do for fun and who to play with. I went to the state that they lived in to visit just after my Superman had passed. I just wanted to try and help in any way that I could. My godson was missing his brother, of course. So we decided he could ask me to go anywhere, play any games, ride bikes, go to the park, and I would have to say yes to anything, just like his little brother Superman always did. It was a great time for the both of us, taking our minds off our sadness just for a while. It gave my friend and her husband some time to rest and gave my godson some special Aunt Patti attention. And of course, I loved being with him too. The other 2 kids were off with their friends, so my godson decided we would ride bikes to the park in the community where they lived. It had a pool and a nice area for the kids to play. There was a climbing toy slide thing, and this had a spinny dinosaur game at the top of the slide. The kid decided to climb up to the game, and he would spin the dinosaurs so that I could guess their name, among with any other games where the rules changed every single minute. I was able to see him sitting there, spinning the dinosaurs around, and we played for a while since no one else was in the park except for the 2 of us. All of a sudden, he had the biggest, widest eyes and turned around while sitting on the platform where we were playing the game. I couldn't see what he was looking at, but he was happy. He turned back to me with something in his hand, and he said, "Aunt Patti, look." He handed me a Superman comic book for the spinny dinosaur things. I was like, what the heck? It really made my legs weak, LOL. I said, "Where did this come from?" And he said he just saw it there. I asked him if it was up there when he went up to the slide the first time, and he said he hadn't seen it. I looked at the comic book. The date was 1987, so maybe somewhat of a collector's kind of comic book since it was 26 years old. It was in perfect condition, not a fold, not a wrinkle or a rip in the pages. I tried to comprehend where this could have come from, Who could have possibly known we were going to be there? How could anyone have put this there without me seeing them? I was at a loss for words. He looked at me with this gigantic smile. We both knew who had been playing with us, even though no one was in the park except for me and him.
Aww.
I said, let's go show mommy and daddy and let's see what they say. We got back to the house and showed them. My friend looked at the comic while her husband cracked up laughing in astonishment. My friend seemed aggravated. She said to me, did you read the front cover? And I hadn't. Honestly, I was freaking out a little since he was the one that found it. The picture on the cover was, I think, Wonder Woman and another superhero holding Superman in their laps.
Aww.
And the cover said, the funeral is over.
Oh my God.
And something about time to get on with our lives.
Oh my God. Wow.
Oh, my friend was not happy with me. She definitely thought that I planted the comic book. I had to swear on all good things in my life that I did not ever see that comic book there before. We talked more about it over drinks later. She definitely did not believe me. A few months later, she went to a psychic medium. The first question she asked was, who put the comic book in the playground? Whoever this person was said, who do you think? It will be 10 years in November since that happened.
Wow.
I haven't brought it up, but I hope she believes me now.
Oh my gosh.
But my godson and I know the truth. It was Superman, wanting to join in on the fun that day with us. Everyone sees the signs when his favorite Black Eyed Peas song comes on at the time that he wants us to know that he's there with us. We miss him and we love our Superman. Love sharing my stories with both of you. I highly recommend Susan to all the listeners. She is a great person. Thanks, Patti.
Wow.
That
one's crazy.
That's wild.
He's just up there at the park with his muscle suit on, and
he's like, "Here's a collector's item."
Here's a collector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way,
comic
here's like a
book.
couple $100.
Yeah. It's a limited edition.
Wow.
There's only
Wow.
3 out there. Collector's
Wow.
item.
That is so crazy.
Wow. That's
Okay,
a-
if that wasn't true though, imagine the guy who just dropped his collector's item comic book and he's like, where the fuck did I put that?
And he hears it on
Yeah.
me covering this podcast, and he's like,
Yeah.
But and what is crazy though is that like that is probably what happened. Someone was probably walking by, dropped their comic book, but it just so happened like that's like how the universe works.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it
Just
was,
the cosmos maybe planted it there in some way.
right
The
because
funeral.
ghosts can't make things appear
Right.
like out,
Right.
out of thin air. So somehow this little boy's spirit had
like literally knocked it out of this collector's hand.
I like to
Yeah,
think he
or
just
somehow,
smacked
like,
it out of the hand or something.
flew
But
out of a
why
garbage
would it-
can or something
It was
like
at the
that.
top of the
wind
slide,
caught it.
though.
I don't know.
Like, not a scratch on it, not a rip in the page.
It's so wild.
know.
And it also makes me wonder too, like, could it have just manifested? Because there's so many stories of people
right.
in haunted houses just like losing things and finding them in random places later. Like, can you lose your own item and it be given to someone else miles away? That'd be kind of crazy.
I
Oh,
think
I
so.
wonder if that is what happened.
like portals, like
Whenever
Yeah.
you lose something and it reappear, and then someone else across the world finds something that they've been
your
losing.
nose ring.
Like my nose ring randomly appeared.
Wild.
Right there for me.
That's why.
Ugh.
Well, that's all the stories we have today. Thanks
I know.
so much.
Guys,
I
I gotta
think
tell
you-
you the truth.
Well, should we be real with them, Em?
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
They're like, wow, Christine's been really awfully quiet. She must not like Taylor's stories.
Well, Christine, what if there's like this whole Reddit thread that gets created about Christine having like a vendetta against me?
she didn't speak at all. Well, she had to go.
It's like she must have hated you guys. No, she did have to leave, and so that's why I've been overly chatty. So, but no, thank you for having both of us on behalf of Christine. You're one of our favorite true crime podcasts. We
Stop.
anytime you want to have us on, we always want to do it. So
Well, come back on Tuesday. I'll see you then.
You just want to join Creeps and Crimes podcast?
sure, I would love that. That would make me very happy.
And crimes.
Crimes,
Creeps and
actually.
crimes and
Crimes.
M. Yeah.
Creeps and Crimes and M.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it so much. Well, thank you so much for everyone that wrote in their stories. If you guys have a
Yeah,
story
thank
that
you.
you'd like to write in, you can send it to creepsandcrimes.ca@gmail.com. If you'd like to reach out to Susan, the official psychic angelic medium of Creeps and Crimes podcast, her information is always in the description, show notes of these episodes, and we've got plenty of posts with her on our social medias. So go check that out. Text her, don't email her, because we don't know which email she's working with right now. They're both flooded.
Text.
But thank you guys so much for joining us for our 150th episode.
I can't believe that. And you guys
Happy
just had
150.
300, right?
We did. We're about to have 350. So
Oh my.
not to blow you out of the water there, but
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine.
no, I'm very proud of both of you. 150 is a huge accomplishment.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I can't wait to listen to your 350. Oh, wait, 365. I can't wait to listen to your 365.
Well, now I'm gonna have to figure out a theme. All
Oh,
right.
well, thank you so much, Em. I really
Thank
appreciate
you.
you for
Yeah,
staying
of
on and
course.
chatting with us too.
Of course.
I guess we can let the pre-recorded goodbye take over from here.
Yep.
Sure.
So we're
Entering
done.
now. Okay. Well, thank
you guys so much for coming on today.
It's
Thank you so
the
much.
greatest honor, and I
This is a
really do
fake
love your
ending.
show. So we were thrilled when we last minute barged into your studio to record.
Barged in
Yeah.
when we literally begged you.
No, we
Yeah,
literally said, please save our souls.
Both one
Or
or,
don't.
neither. It's fine.
You were like, you don't have to save our souls, but probably our lives will end if you don't. And I was like, tough choice.
Oh my god.
You guys were definitely pressured to say that.
Yeah, we really did kind of.
No, we were happy to do it. We were happy to do it.
We
Oh
would
my
have.
God, thank
We
you
make
guys.
excuses. We're good at excuses. We would have made an excuse if we weren't able
Amazing.
to. Yeah.
Well, we're also.
I
good at
appreciate
excuses.
you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
This is the coolest thing ever. I promise that this will be officially the last time that I ever lose my shit and fangirl.
No, I love it. Keep it coming.
If you stop, then we're done.
Yeah, it
So-
Okay,
was-
fine.
There you
I'll do
go.
it every day. I'll text you. I'll DM you and tag you in every story.
It's such a nice ego boost.
I'll go get 52 London fogs.
Oh, there you go.
Stop it.
M's won over already.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
All right.
Shit.
Bye, you guys.
Well, thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for being here. Happy 150.
Happy 150.